Hello everyone and welcome to the second part of hypothesis testing, that is two sample tests. These are our lecture objectives. So what is two sample test? Two sample statistical test types and examples of hypothesis tests. Now what is two sample hypothesis testing? Now in a two sample hypothesis test, two parameters from two populations are compared. For a two sample hypothesis test, the null hypothesis H0 is statistical hypothesis that usually states that there is no difference between the parameters of two populations. The null hypothesis always contains the symbol less than equal to or greater than equal to. The alternate hypothesis HA is a statistical hypothesis that is true when H0 is false. The alternate hypothesis always contains the symbol greater than, not equal to, or less than. So regardless of which hypothesis used, mu1 is equals to mu2 is always assumed to be true, that there is no significant difference in the population parameters. So to write a null and alternate hypothesis for a two sample hypothesis test, translate the claim made about the population parameters from a verbal statement to a mathematical statement. So you can see the the null hypothesis mu1 is equals to mu2. That is, the mean of one population is same as mean of other population. That is, there is no significant difference. And alternate hypothesis we have mu1 is not equals to mu2. So this H0 and HA can be written as mu1 minus mu2 is equals to 0 and mu1 minus mu2 is not equal to 0. Similarly, H0 can be written as mu1 is less than or equal to mu2 and HA mu1 is greater than mu2. It can be similarly written like mu1 minus mu2 is less than or equal to 0 and mu1 minus mu2 is greater than 0. Similarly, mu1 is greater than or equal to mu2, mu1 is less than mu2, and mu1 minus mu2 is greater than or equal to 0, and mu1 minus mu2 is less than 0. So, the first leads to two-tailed test. Since the sign is greater than sign, it leads to right-tailed test. Since the sign is less than sign, it leads to left-tailed test. So let us understand what is the meaning of two sample hypothesis testing. So suppose there are two different teaching methods. That is, in earlier, before this pandemic, we used to teach in the classroom situation. So the first is classroom teaching and other method of teaching is an online teaching. So what we have done? So we have taken sample from population 1, that is mu1, and this mu1 is unknown. And we want to test hypothesis for this mu1 as a population parameter. So we have drawn some sample and then we have identified the x bar, which is represented by x1 bar. Now the second method is online teaching method. So similarly, you have taken another population and you have drawn the second sample, which gives you some x2 bar. So this is the sample 1 and this is the sample 2. That's why these tests are called as two sample hypothesis testing. Now, since if you take out samples multiple times, this x1 minus x2 bar, x1 bar minus x2 bar will have a standard distribution. So let us generate the basic understanding. So first term is independent samples. Now two samples are independent if the sample selected from one population is not related to the sample selected from second population. For example, you have a class A and you have drawn one sample of say 10 students from class A. Similarly, you have another class B and you have suppose drawn again 10 samples from class B. Now, these two classes are not dependent on each other, or the students are not shared by class A and class B. So students of class A are independent and students of class B are independent, right? So you are drawing sample 1 from class A, sample 2 from class B, which are both independent. That's why these samples are also called as independent samples, right? The second term is dependent samples. Now two samples are dependent if each member of sample corresponds to a member of other sample. Dependent samples are also called as paired sample or matched samples. For example, in the same population, from the same population, you take out sample 1 at some time instance and you withdraw the second population, you draw a second sample at different time zone, right? So this is dependent sample because the population is shared between two samples, right? So for example, if you want to test the hypothesis for production before and after lunch hours, so this is the case of dependent sample. So this is the overall variety in hypothesis testing of two sample. So first is population mean, means hypothesis testing for population mean. So if the samples are independent, then population mean if the samples are dependent, then hypothesis testing for population proportion, hypothesis testing for population variances. Now this population mean independent samples can be further classified as if the standard deviation of population 1 and standard deviation of population 2, that is sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square, is known. Second variety is sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square is unknown. Again, if it is unknown, then again it is further divided that sigma 1 square is assumed to be equal to sigma 2 square and it is assumed they are not equal. So each type of problem has a different treatment. So let us understand one by one. So first case is two sample test for population mean independent samples where sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square are known, means this case. So let us take an example. A high school math teacher claims that students in her class will score higher in one topic than students in a colleague's math class. The mean math score for 49 students in her class is 22.1 and the population standard deviation is 4.8. The mean math score for 44 of the colleague students is 19.8. The population standard deviation is 5.4. At alpha is equals to 0.10, can the teacher's claim be supported? So let us tabulate the given data. N1 is 49, X1 bar is 22.1 and sigma 1 is 4.8. Similarly, N2 is 44, X2 bar is 19.8 and sigma 2 is 5.4. Alpha is given as 0.10. So step 1, develop the null and alternate hypothesis. Now what the teacher is claiming? The high school math teacher claims that student in her class will score higher in one topic than the colleague's math score, right? Means what exactly is she is claiming that, let us assume a mean maths population score mu1 of teacher 1. So she is claiming that it is higher than mu2, right? So her claim is this. But if we keep these as h0, so by definition of null hypothesis, the null hypothesis will only contain equal to sign, greater than equal to or less than equal to. So you cannot keep this as your null hypothesis. So what we will do, we will keep the claim as alternate hypothesis, and we will uh, keep h0 as mu1 is less than or equal to mu2, right? Since equal to sign has to be there, so that's why we will keep mu1 minus mu2, mu1 less than equal to mu2 as null hypothesis, and mu1 greater than mu2 as an alternative hypothesis. Now in this case, your claim is alternate hypothesis, right? Which leads us to a right-tailed test. Now step 2 is specify the level of significance alpha, which is given as 0.10. Now collect the sample data and compute the test statistics. So the formula for standardized test statistics Z, because population is greater than 30 and the sigma is known, so we will use Z statistics. The formula for Z statistics is x1 bar minus x2 bar minus this mu1 minus mu2. So it is 0 and it is 22.1 minus 19.8. The formula for sigma of, that is deviation of x1 bar minus x2 bar. So the formula for this is under root sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square of n2 by n2. So which comes out to be 1.0644, and the value of Z statistics comes out to be 2.161. Now using the critical value approach, so what we have done, it is a right tail test. So we have the Z value is 2.161, right? So this is that Z statistics value 2.161, and Z at 0.1 is equals to, for one tail test is 1.28. So which is this? So which decides the rejection level? So rejection region. Okay. So since Z stat is in the rejection region, we have to reject x0 and accept the alternate hypothesis. So what is the alternate hypothesis? That students in her class performs better than in the colleague's class. So whatever she was saying was correct. Let us move on to second variety, that is test for population mean, independent samples, unknown sigmas 1 and sigma 2 square, but assumed equal. Now let us take an example. A feeding test is conducted on the herd of 25 dairy cows to compare two types of foods, food A and food B. A sample of 13 cows randomly selected from the herd are fed food A, and the remaining cows are fed with food B. The average daily milk production in liters is recorded for each cow and is given below. Perform the two sample test to investigate the evidence of a difference in true average milk yields for two foods. Take level of significance alpha is equals to 0.05. So in this case it is given food A. So in total it has 13 samples, and here just 12 samples. Total comes out to be 25. So let us record the given data. N1 is 13, x1 bar is 45.15. So if you calculate the x1 bar of this, you will get 45.15. And if you calculate the standard deviation of this, you will get 7.998. Similarly, if you calculate x2 bar of this population, you will get 42.25 and S2 as 8.740. So you have to develop the null and alternate hypothesis. So H0 is mu1 equals to mu2. So what is the claim? Perform the two sample test to investigate the evidence of a difference in true average milk yields for two foods, right? Means whether the difference exists or not. So for that, mu1 is there is no difference, and alternate hypothesis there is a difference, and which leads us to two-tailed test. Specify the level of significance alpha, which is 0.05. Now when population standard deviation are assumed equal, you have to calculate pooled sample variances. So the formula for calculating pooled sample variance is n1 minus 1 into s1 square plus n2 minus 1 into s2 square divided by n1 plus n2 minus 2. And you have to calculate the value of t statistics using this formula. So the pool sample variance comes out to be 69.907 and t stats comes out to be 0.1036. Now using the critical value approach, identify t at level of significance. So since it is a two-tailed test, you have to find out t alpha by 2 using the t distribution table. So it comes out to be 2.068658. So reject H0 if T stat is greater than T alpha by 2, comma degrees of freedom, right? So since and this value is 2.068 and since 0.1036, that is this value, is less than 2.068, we will accept the null hypothesis and leading to conclusion there is no significant difference between the two food types. So in this way you can solve the hypothesis testing when population standard deviation is unknown but you are assuming them to be equal. Now we have used t distribution because the samples are less than 30, right? Always remember you have to decide depending on the sample size. Now the next case is test for population mean independent samples, unknown unequal sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square. In the previous case we have assumed sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square to be equal. In this case we will assume it as unequal. So let us take an example. Now this example is from Applied Statistics and Probability for Engineers, 7th edition by Douglas Montgomery and George Langer, John Wiley and Sons publication. So example is arsenic concentration in public drinking water supplies is a potential health risk. An article in the Arizona Republic reported drinking water arsenic concentrations in parts per billion for 10 metropolitan Phoenix communities and 10 communities in rural Arizona. The data follow. We wish to determine whether any difference exists in a mean arsenic concentration for metropolitan Phoenix communities and for communities in rural Arizona. Take alpha equal to 0.05. So this is the data given. So the x1 bar for this population is 12.5 and sample standard deviation is 7.63. X2 bar is 27.5 and S2 is 15.3. So there are total 10 communities in rural and 10 communities in metropolitan, right? So let us see step by step. So develop null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis is the step 1. So we have to test. We wish to determine whether any difference exists in mean arsenic concentration, right? So we have stated null hypothesis that there is no difference as null hypothesis and there is difference as alternate hypothesis, which again leads us to two-tailed test. Alpha is 0.05. So using the formula for, again, the sample is less than or equal to 30. So that's why we will use the t as test statistic. X1 bar minus x2 bar divided by under root s1 square by n1 plus s2 square by n2. This is the formula given. So you can calculate this T0 by this formula, and which comes out to be minus 2.77. Using the critical value approach, identify T at level of significance and degree of freedom. So this degree of freedom, V, it can be calculated with the help of this formula. And which comes out to be 13. And using the T distribution table, we have the value of T critical as minus 2.160. And your calculated value of T statistics is minus 2.77. So as per your rejection rule, reject H0 if T stat is greater than T alpha by 2, comma degree of freedom. Since minus 2.77 is greater than minus 2.160, we will reject the null hypothesis. And as a conclusion, you can state that there is strong evidence to conclude that mean arsenic concentration in the drinking water in rural Arizona is different from the mean arsenic concentration in metropolitan Phoenix drinking water. The next case is test for population mean when the samples are dependent. Earlier we have completed all the cases of independent samples. Now this is the dependent sample case. Again, this problem is taken from Applied Statistics and Probability for Engineers, 7th edition by Douglas Montgomery. So let us see an example. An article in the Journal of Strain Analysis compares several methods for predicting the shear strength for steel plate grinders. Data for two of these methods, Karlsruhe and Ley procedures, when applied to 9 specific girders, are shown in table. We wish to determine whether there is any difference between the two methods. So you have this total 9 samples and you have their values of these two methods. So we have to calculate the difference. So this is the difference, which is called as dj, between these two methods. So for the dependent sample case, you have calculated the d bar, that is the mean difference, by summation of these values divided by number of samples, that is 9. And similarly, you have calculated standard deviation of sample difference, that is 0.1356. So as per the steps, develop the null alternate hypothesis. So mu1 is equals to mu2 is your H0 and mu1 not equal to mu2, which is your alternate, which leads us to two-tailed test. Alpha is 0.05. Now if the alpha is not given in the problem, you can assume to be 0.05. So compute the test statistics, that is T of 0, that is calculated is D bar, that is mean difference, divided by standard deviation between difference and divided by under root n. So this comes out to be 6.05. Using critical value approach, identify T at level of significance. So since it is a two-tailed test, T alpha by 2 comma 8, degree of freedom is n minus 1, which comes out to be 8, that is 2.306. As per the rejection rule, reject H0 if T calculated is greater than T alpha by 2 comma degree of freedom. So since 6.05 is greater than 2.306, we will reject the null hypothesis. And hence we conclude that strength prediction methods yield different results because this is our alternate hypothesis. In this way, the problems related to dependent samples can be solved. Now, test for two population proportion. So let us see an example. A school wants to determine whether a recently hired teacher is performing. 23 out of 30 of new teachers A students passed a certain test on the first try. In comparison, 57, so let us write this data, that is, let us see the new teacher A and 23 on 30 are selected. Similarly, instructor teacher B's students are 57 on 72. So you have to test the hypothesis, that is teachers A success rate worse than teachers B success rate, right? Take alpha as 0.05. So this is the data: new teacher N130, X123, N272, X257, right? So let us solve this problem step by step. So again, in proportions, you have to assume this is as equal, right? So we have null hypothesis is P1 greater than P2, greater than equal to P2, and alternate hypothesis is P1 less than P2. You can also write this proportion as P1 is equals to P2 and P1 less than P2, which leads us to left tail test. Now specify the level of significance, that is 0.05. Collect the sample data and compute test statistics. So first you have to calculate the pooled proportion. The formula for pooled proportion is, first you have to calculate the pooled P bar, that is 23 by 30, proportion 1, which is 0.767. Second proportion is 57 by 72, which is 0.7916. The average pool proportion is x1 plus x2 by n1 plus n2. So which comes out to be 0.78431. And calculate the Z statistics. Since the population is greater than or equal to 30, you are using Z statistics. So formula is P1 minus P2 under root P into 1 minus P into 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. So using this formula, Z0 comes out to be minus 2797. So identify Z at level of significance. Since it is only one tail test, it is Z of 0.05, which is minus 1.645 because it is left tail test. So our decision rule is reject S0 if calculated value of Z is less than the value of Z at level of significance. So since minus 0.2797 is greater than minus 1.645, we will accept the null hypothesis. This is shown graphically over here, that this critical value is 1.645. So this is that value, minus 1.645, and calculated value of Z is minus 0.27, that is this value. So since your calculated value of Z is in the acceptance region, you will accept the null hypothesis, which leading to confusion that there is insufficient evidence that instructor A is inferior to instructor B in terms of their student success rate, right? So the next is F test for testing two sample variances. We have seen the proportion case. Now F test for testing two sample variances. What is the procedure is? State the null hypothesis with alternate hypothesis. Calculate the F value using the formula. F value is sigma 1 square by sigma 2 square. Third is find the F statistics, which is a critical value for this test using F distribution table. And finally, support or reject the null hypothesis. So this is the F distribution curve. So let us understand this with the help of an example. A company manufactures propeller shafts of an automobile. Two different grinding processes can be used and both processes can produce parts at identical mean surface roughness. The manufacturing engineer would like to select the process having the least variability in surface roughness. A random sample of 11 parts from the first process results in a sample standard deviation of 5.1 microinches, and second random sample of 16 parts from the second process results in sample standard deviation of 4.7 microinches. Test the hypothesis with 90% confidence level for differences in variances. So let us write the given data for two samples, sample 1, sample 2. N1 is 11, standard deviation is 5.1, sample standard deviation. N2 is 16 and S2 is 4.7. You have to test for variances. So for variances, difference in variances, you have F test and alpha is 0.10. Since level of confidence level is 90%, you have alpha is 0.1. So let us apply the procedure. So we have to check the claim that level for differences in variances. So what we will say, there is no difference in variances. So this is your null hypothesis stating that there is no difference, and this is your alternate hypothesis stating that there is a difference, which leads us to two-tailed test. Alpha is 0.10. Now calculate F statistics. Now there is a catch point that something has to be right in the numerator and denominator. So numerator, you have to decide what is to be kept in the numerator and what is to be kept in the denominator, right? So as per the given data, you have one value as 5.1 and other value as 4.7. So whichever is the highest value, largest value of between these two S1 S2, you have to keep it as numerator. Since 5.1 is the highest value, I have kept it in the numerator, right? So 5.1 square divided by 4.7 square, which comes out to be calculated F value is 1.177. Now next step is identify F at degrees of freedom 1 and degrees of freedom 2 at level of significance 0.05 because it's a two-tailed test. So this is nothing but alpha by 2 from F distribution table. So using F distribution table at alpha 0.05, first calculate degrees of freedom numerator. That is, in this case, it is a sample 1. So that is 11 minus 1, it is 10. Then degree of freedom 2, this should be 2. Denominator of sample 2, that is 16 minus 1, it is 15. So now in the table, you have to see the value F at level of significance 0.05, which is alpha by 2, comma 10, comma 15. That is, first you have to see the degrees of freedom of numerator followed by denominator. So numerator's degree of freedom is 1 and denominator's degree of freedom is 15. So it comes out to be 2.54, right? So the rule is reject H0 if F calculated, that is this value, is greater than F critical, that is this value. So since 1.77, this should be 1.177. 1.177 is less than 2.54, we will accept the null hypothesis. This is also shown with the help of this figure, that is f value using this table, that is critical value is 2.54 over here and calculated value is 1.177, right? So since it is not in the rejection region, it is in the accepted region, we have to accept the null hypothesis, stating that there is no significant variation in two grinding processes. So let us see summary. Many of you may get confused that which test to be used in which type of problem. So it is simplified in the one table. If the sample size is less than equal to 30, if sample size is greater than 30. When the sigma is known, you have to use z-test, right, in the both the cases. If sigma is unknown, that is population standard deviation is unknown, and sample size is less than equal to 30, you have to use t-test. And if sigma is unknown and sample size is greater than 30, you have to use z-test. In this case, you have to replace sigma with sample standard deviation. So I hope you have understood the two sample tests and various types. And thank you for watching. If you have any queries, you can comment below and you can send your request to untwistedlearning@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and happy learning.